किससे अभी कितना कर रहे हैं।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारि यमुना तीरावनचारि जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा माधव जी राधे जय कोरानिता मायापुर तस्सी जय कोरानिताय जय मायापुर तस्सी जय जगन्नाथ जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा माई जय जय प्रभुपा जय जय प्रभुपा श्री प्रभुपाद की जय Hare Krishna. So let me share my screen. Hope you can see my screen now. Okay. So yesterday we started Canto 10 and first chapter. We went through till 13 verses. We'll continue from there. So a quick brief. What happened is in Canto 9, Sukadeva Goswami explains about Krishna's pastime very briefly, and then Sukadeva Parishad Maharaj started asking him more. Please describe more about Krishna. And then he appreciated how Sukadeva Goswami elaborately described about the pastimes of Krishna and Suryavansis and Somavansa. And then he says, could you please elaborate more on Krishna's pastimes and about Lord Balrama more. So let's see what happens next. And also he glorifies about the discussion about Krishna, how glorious it is actually realizable by the Jivan Mukta or the elevated souls, and also is the right medicine for the conditioned soul as well. And then he let's go back to text 13 and from there we continue text 14 actually. Hare Krishna. So text 14 till where we saw yesterday, and let's see from here. Text 14. Suta uvacha evam nishamya भृगुनंदन साधुवादम वैश्याशकी स भगवान अतः विष्णु राटम प्रत्याचार्य कृष्ण चरितम कली कलमश घृणम व्याहर्तुम आर्भर्त भागवत प्रदान. Thank you. Pradhana. So the Suta Goswami is now. So just to give be a brief, that's the discussion happening between Suta Goswami and Sonakadi Rishi on the very higher level. And inside that, Suta Goswami is explaining about the discussion happened between Parshit Maharaj and and Sukadev Goswami. So that discussion is going on here, right? And after that what happening is, in between we see different topics, different discussion goes on in between, but the main two point is one in one level. Sudha Goswami explained to Sukadev Adi Goswami, sorry, Sukadev Goswami explained to Sonakadi Rishis, and inside that he explaining about the discussion happened between Sukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. So Suta Goswami here again says that, O son of Bhrigu, after Sukadev Goswami, the most respectable devotee, the son of Vyasadeva, heard the pious questions of Maharaj Parikshit, he thanked the king with great respect. Then he began to discourse on topics concerning Krishna, which are the remedy of all suffering in the age of Kali. Kali Kalmasa Grinam. So Kali Kalmasa Nasanam. Krishna's name is actually Kali Kalmasa Nasanam. Okay, so that's how it is happening, right? So let's go further. See, the point is, Parshit Maharaj initially glorified Sukadev Goswami about explaining him elaborately in previous cantos, and now Sukadev Goswami is explaining again to, he's glorifying again to the questions of Parshit Maharaj, and let's see how he is saying more about Parshit Maharaj in the next couple of verses. Prabhupada says in this purport, in the verse, the word Krishna Charitam Kali Kalmasa Grinam. So earlier we saw about Krishna Charitam, and then Sukadev Goswami being said by Parishit Maharaj that you have described the Adbhutam Charitam, or the very magnanimous, glorious Charitra character of the kings. So please describe more about Krishna. And now Suta Goswami is saying that Sukadev Goswami says that Krishna Charitam is Kali Kalmasagranam. So that indicates that the activities of Lord Krishna are certainly the greatest panacea for all miseries, especially in the age of Kali. Right. So as we discussed earlier, Bhavasadas, the perfect medicine for the Kali Yuga is Krishna Katha. Right. So let's go ahead. Text 15. Sri Shuka Uvacha. Sukadev Goswami is saying now, सम्यग सम्यक व्यवस्थिता बुद्धिस तव राजर्षि सत्तम वासुदेव कथायम ते यज्जाता नैष्टिकी रति. So he's saying that, oh Parikshit Maharaj, actually you are fixed, your intelligence is completely fixed. Samyak is fixed. Where it is completely fixed? In Vasudevam Katham. So his intelligence of Parshit Maharaj is completely fixed in the topics of Vasudeva, and that's why he says Tava Raja Rishi. So the Parshit Maharaj is being addressed as Raja Rishi. Raja Rishis mean the Rishi, king. Also at the same time he is a Rishi because he is actually acting like a Rishi. He's completely complete aloof of all everything. He has just given up all his kingdom just with a single message of that he's going to get beaten by Takshak Nag snake in 7 days, right? So Sukadev Goswami said, O your majesty, best of all saintly king, because you are greatly attracted to the topics of Vasudeva, it is certain that your intelligence is firmly fixed in the spiritual understanding. Right? Can you imagine if someone is actually just about to die in 7 days and he's saying, I want to hear more and more about Krishna? He's not at all worried about anything else. And just imagine, we are worried about a lot of other things. So he is on a very, very high platform. And the same is Sukadev Goswami. And he's saying, Sukadev Goswami is saying that which is the only true goal of humanity, right? So the goal of humanity is what? Is actually to have rati, to have attraction toward Krishna Katha. And here, Parikshit Maharaj has already developed it. He's also called as Vishnu Rata. From his birth, he's actually searching for Krishna, right? And that's how he says, because that attraction is unceasing and it is certainly sublime, right? See, the glorious pastimes of Krishna, the glories of Krishna has been described from verse 1 till as of now, is always saying that Krishna Katha is actually the perfect medicine. And because you are completely attracted to the topics of Vasudeva or Krishna, your intelligence is firmly fixed in spiritual understanding. So if we want to take a step in our spiritual life, then we need to be firm in hearing the topics of Vasudeva and his devotees as glorious as well. So Prabhupada says that Krishna Katha is compulsory for the Raja Rishi. That's why he's called as Rishi. Raja as well as Rishi. He's actually working under the direction or the instructions given by the sages, because sages give instructions as instruction given by Krishna himself. Right. That's why he's Raja Rishi. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita as well, Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam. That Raja Vidya is two meaning. The Raja Vidya is the secret, and also this is the king of knowledge, and this is also the knowledge for the kings. So Raja Vidya is the king of all knowledge. At the same time, this is the knowledge for the kings. That Bhagavad Gita or instruction of Krishna and glories about Krishna. Right. So that's how I think Prabhupada here says this is also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita that Imam Rajarshayo Vidhu. So Krishna has given this knowledge earlier to the kings, and that had been flowing earlier. But that during due course of time, that lineage has been broken. So he re-established the dharma of the bhakti by Arjuna. And Prabhupada very, very formally mentioned that unfortunately, however, in this age, the governmental power is gradually being captured by third class and fourth class men who have no spiritual understanding, and society is therefore very quickly becoming degraded. So if you want to elevate or upgrade our way of living, then we have to the rulers, they have to be becoming like Rajarishi. We talk about becoming Ram Rajya, but we need to go we need to act accordingly as well, right? So Krishna Katha must be understood by the executive heads of government, for otherwise how will people be happy and gain relief from the pangs of material life? It's so Prabhupada very, very firmly point out that if we want to be free from this materialistic life, then we'll have to be following Krishna Katha, hearing Krishna Katha, especially the leaders. If they do, and then they can propagate into the lower parts as well. So, and Prabhupada emphasizes about Krishna consciousness movement. He says this is an example of how the Krishna consciousness movement should spread all over the world to bring both the speaker and the audience to the transcendental platform and back home, back to Godhead. Right. That's how going back to Godhead is the essence of the human life. Text 16. Sudhir Goswami continues, appreciating Parikshit Maharaj. He says, Vasudeva Katha Prashna पुरुषाम स्त्रीणी पुना पुनाति ही वक्तारम पृच्छाकम श्रोतम तत्पाद शैलम यथा. So he is saying that Vasudevam Katha Prashna. So anyone who inquires about the Vasudeva Katha, because as you are inquiring, oh Parikshit Maharaj, there are three peoples, Purusham Strini Punati hi. He says there are three peoples who get benefited. What are those? Vaktaram, Prachakam, and Srotraham. So the one who speak, the speaker, and then one who inquire, the inquirer, and one who hears. So everyone get benefited as if Tadapada Sailam Yatha. So Tadapada Sailam Yatha is called as Ganga Devi. So how the water of Ganges purifies the all three planetary system, upper, lower, and middle. In the similar way, the Krishna Katha purifies the speaker. Let's read it. It says, the Ganges emanating from the toe of the Lord Vishnu purifies the three world, the upper, middle, and lower planetary system. Similarly, when one asks questions about the pastimes and characteristics of Lord Vasudeva, Krishna, three varieties of men are purified: the speaker or the preacher, he who inquires, and the people in general who listens. So all get purified. Right. So this is the Krishna Katha is purification for everyone, for the speaker, for the hearer, and for the enquirer as well. Right. And then Prabhupada's quotes 11th canto verse Tasmat Gurum Prapadyante Jigyasu Sreya Uttama. So the Sreya Uttama, the topmost activity or topmost thing to inquire is how? By surrendering to the lotus feet of a spiritual master. Tasmat Gurum Prapadyate, take shelter of Guru and then inquire about the highest duty. Right? Those interested in understanding transcendental subject matters as the goal of life must approach the bona fide spiritual master. Prabhupada always mentions this point as bona fide spiritual master. And we discussed yesterday about hearing from not bona fide speakers. It actually, though speaking Krishna Katha, but it might not be beneficial for it, right? So one must surrender to such a guru who can give right information about Krishna. So guru is actually a very, 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 very heavy word. It's not cheap. Sometimes we see here people just make, okay, we have a guru, that's all. You know, uh, anyway, there is no offense saying out to others. It's not about anything but the point is we need to be very, very, if I used to say all the time, Krishna is there within our heart as a Paramatma, and he knew very much, he aware about our intention. If our intention is correct, then definitely he will guide us towards a bona fide guru. If our intention is to get cheated, then he will guide us towards a cheating guru. So that's how, if our intention is pure, Krishna is definitely going to guide us. Definitely, there's no question in that. So we need to get right intention about what are we desiring to. Okay. So here Maharaj Parikshit has surrendered to the right personality, Sukadeva Goswami, for enlightening in Vasudeva Katha, and Vasudeva is the original personality of Godhead who has unlimited spiritual activity that we discussed elaborately yesterday as well. And Srimad Bhagavatam till 9th canto, all the his katha, like it's been proved by all many devotees that Krishna is the supreme. And even in a very, very first canto is being very clearly proved about the supremacy of Krishna. And also we read yesterday about how Prabhupada quotes from Brahma Samhita and others as well, proving that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. There is no doubt in that at all. Right. So this is a good sign for people who are in Krishna consciousness and who wanted to join Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada says, therefore, since the Krishna consciousness movement is full of Vasudeva Katha, anyone who hears, anyone who joins the movement, and anyone who preaches will be purified. So purification process starts just by hearing Krishna Katha. Text 17. So now he starts explaining about what happened, why Krishna appeared in this yuga, and how Krishna did pastimes. He's just going back. So there goes some and explaining it. Let's see it. He says, "Bhumir dripta nra vyaja दैत्यानिक सत्यायुते आक्रांता भूरि भारेण ब्राह्मणम saranam yayau." He's saying once when Mother Earth was overburdened by hundreds and thousands of military phalanxes of various concocted demons dressed like kings, she approached Lord Brahma for relief. So the point is, just before couple of verses we saw Parshit Maharaj addressing Sukdev Goswami addressing Parshit Maharaj as Raja Rishi, And now Sukadeva Goswami is saying, still there were those so many kings. They are dressed like kings. It means they are not kings because they are devoid of Krishna consciousness. They are actually demons in the dress of kings. So what happened that this, the Mother Earth, she approached Lord Brahma for relief. We'll see it in the further chapter how she approaches Lord Brahma and what happens next. Let's see. And Prabhupada quotes the point very clearly that whenever there is any decline in dharma, Krishna appears. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yada Yada Dharma, a very, very famous verse. Even if no one knows Bhagavad Gita, but they know this verse, Yada Yada Dharmasya Glanibhavati Bharata. This is a well-known verse, right? So three things: whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practices, O descendant of Bharata, a prominent rise of irreligion, at the time I appear myself, right? So he comes to re-establish the religion, to give shelter to his devotees. But primary, this is actually, these are actually secondary cause. Krishna's appearance to this world is secondary cause, that he wanted to re-establish religion. He wanted to protect his devotee. He wanted to annihilate the demons. These are all secondary reasons. The primary reasons of Krishna's appearance is the devotee, they relish Krishna's pastimes. That's actually primary reason. Nothing else is there. So uh, Prabhupada says, when the residents of the earth become atheists and godless, they descend to the status of animals like dogs and hawks, and thus their only business is to bark among themselves. So this is not the duty of the human being to just bark like hawks and dogs. So we have some more higher duties, right? There's a nice verse comes as well, like sleeping, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. These are all as good as animals does it, but it's something higher, right? Dharma hi tesam adhiko visheshu. So the dharma is the superlative qualities for the human being. Otherwise, ahar, nidra, bhaya, maituna, these are as good as available for animals and for a human being. Prabhupada says that if we do not follow dharma, then we are just like sophisticated animals. Though a dog, he enjoys eating on the roadside, we enjoy eating palatable dishes on a nice dining table with nice beautiful plates and cups and glasses. That's the only difference. He enjoyed, we enjoy it here. Even the hog, they enjoy eating stools, right? uh, and we enjoy eating going to a restaurant or big things like that. So this is as good as that same thing. Even the dog can sleep on the streets. We enjoy sleeping in a nice mattress and other things. So these are all same thing. Even the sex life for these hogs and dogs, they enjoy in their areas, and we do in our areas. So things remain the same, but the only thing is that sophisticated animals, unless until we take religiosity in our daily routine, and that is dharmasya glani, or deviation from the goal of human life. The human life is not for dharmasya glani, rather than the human life is meant for athato brahma jigyasa. So Prabhupada mentions here, yeah, human life is meant for attaining the highest perfection of Krishna consciousness, right? So let's see. So what happens now is Lord Lord Brahma being approached by Mother Cow, Mother Earth, in the form of cow. Actually, let's see it. So he says, here is cow comes. Gaur bhutvar su mukti khinna क्रंदन्ति करुणाम विभो उपशैथै कांति के तस्मै व्यसनम समवोच्चता samavochata. What is he's saying, that Mother Earth assumed the form of a cow, and she was very much distressed with tears in her eyes, and she appeared before Lord Brahma and told him about her misfortune. So we saw that how, because of this the demonic kings, Mother Earth was in distress, and she was crying. When she approached Lord Brahma, what happened? She assumed a form of cow. Right? We see in previous cantos, even Canto 1, how the Mother Earth becoming cow, and Dharma, the bull, they were discussing, and the Kali, he came to chastise though. Then Parikshit Maharaj comes up there, and then he wanted to kill Kali, but Kali surrendered. So as he was pious king, he accepted the surrenderance of Kali, and then he forgave Kali. Right. So the point is, mother cow, he assumed the form of a cow, and she went to see Lord Brahma and asking him for relief, to take surrenderness, and to give some shelter to Mother Earth. Right. And he spoke about her misfortune. Very important verse coming now. It says, Brahma tad upadharyartha saha deve satha saha jag jagama satri nanyas trinam kshira payonidhe. So what happens is, thereafter, having heard the distress of Mother Earth, Lord Brahma, with Mother Earth, Lord Shiva, and all other demigods, approached the shore of ocean of milk, where Shvedakashai Vishnu is lying. So the point we are discussing the other day, like, Lord Brahma is the creator of this universe, secondary creator, right? And he has all the intelligence as well, but still he understands very well what his limit is. So he knew very well the distress what Mother Earth is asking and describing here, and what shelter she want. I cannot give protection to her. So he went to Shodakasai Vishnu, and on the near the ocean of milk, and then there they started praying, and they wanted, actually Lord Brahma wanted to convey that why they are there. So after Lord Brahma understood the precarious condition of the earth, he first visited the demigods headed by Lord Indra, who are in charge of various affairs in the universe, and then Lord Shiva, who is responsible for annihilation. And both maintenance and annihilation go on perpetually under the order of Supreme Personality of Godhead, as said in Bhagavad Gita. Prityanaya sadhunam vinashata duskritam. So those who are obedient to the laws of God are protected by different servants and demigods, whereas those who are undesirable are vanquished by Lord Shiva. So Lord Brahma first met all the devatas, including Lord Shiva, and then along with the Mother Earth, they went to the shore of ocean milk. And there, which is basically Lord Vishnu lies on the white island called Shweta Deepa. Shweta is milk, right? So there is there, and there he started asking for help. So what happens now? So tatra gatva jagannatham deva devam vrishakapim purusham purusuktena upatasthe samahitah. So there, by going there, they asked for the Lord Brahma started reciting Purusha Sukta. After reaching the shore of the ocean of milk, the demigod worshipped the supreme personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, the master of the whole universe, the supreme God of all gods, who provides for everyone and diminishes everyone's suffering. With great attention, they worship the Lord Vishnu, who lies on the ocean of milk, by reciting the Vedic mantras known as Purusha Sukta. Purusha Sukta is the prayer by which Lord Brahma communicates with Lord Vishnu instead of Sai Vishnu to him. That's how the communication happens. So the point here is, in this verse is been described by acharyas, that I think it comes next actually. So it's very very rare, and also it's very difficult for Lord Brahma to see Vishnu directly, face to face. And just imagine how glorious is the Brajavasis and whomsoever were present at the time when Krishna himself descended here, and everyone actually was seeing Krishna. So it's actually by the mercy of Krishna himself that everyone could see Krishna, right? And it's not that easy for the devatas even to see Lord Vishnu. It's not that easy for them. That's why Lord Brahma says, okay, I want to go to Vrindavan. Even Lord Shiva says, I want to be there in Vrindavan to see Krishna, right? So it's not easy for them to see, But Krishna, by showing his mercy to the devotees, he appeared so that everyone can see him. Right? Okay. Then the demigods such as Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and King Indra, Chandra, Surya, all are subordinate to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Aside from the demigods, even in human society, there are many influential personalities supervising various business or establishment. Lord Vishnu, however, is God of gods, Parama Ishvara. Prabhupada quotes again, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Sachidananda Vigraha, that we discussed yesterday itself. Right. And why they went there? What happened that Lord Brahma went there? This is the verse. He says he is Deva Devam and he is Jagannatham. Right. That's comes here. Prabhupada mentions here as well that uh, three words. He is described here by many words like Jagannatha. He is the Lord of the universe. He is Deva Deva. He is the God of all God. He is Brishakapi and Purusha. He is a person. He is not impersonal. He is a person. So the supremacy of Lord Vishnu is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Can you see the purpose of Prabhupada? So sometimes people say Bhagavad Gita is different, Bhagavatam is different, both are goes here and there. But if you see the purpose of Prabhupada is actually, if you see read Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada quotes from Bhagavatam, and in Bhagavatam he's quoting from Bhagavad Gita. So both goes hand in hand, right? That's how we can say that Bhagavad Gita is the saying by Krishna, and Bhagavatam is actually glories of Krishna. So he's saying he's quoting 10.12 where Arjuna says, Param Brahma Param Dhamam Pavitram Paravam Bhavam. You are Pavitram Paravam, Param Pavitra, and you are Param Brahma, you are Param Dhamam, right? And Purusham Saswatam Divyam Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum. So he is quoting again from Bhagavad Gita as well, how when Arjuna speaks about Krishna, saying that you are Supreme Brahman, the ultimate, the supreme abode, and the purifier, the absolute truth, and the eternal divine person. Nothing beyond it, right? Nothing beyond it. So Krishna is Adi Purusha, right? So let's see what happened next. What Lord Krishna reciprocate? How does he reciprocate back to Lord Brahma? He said, Giram samudhau gagane samiritam निशम्य वेदास्तिदासम उवाचः गां पुरुषीं मे शृणुता मरः पुनर्विद्यताम् आशु तथैव माचिरम्. Lord Krishna says, while in trance, Lord Brahma heard the words of Lord Vishnu vibrating in the sky. So the communication happening between Lord Brahma has recited the Purusha Sukta, and now Lord is reciprocating back with his words what he is saying. Thus he told the demigod that, O demigods, hear from me the order of Shodakashai Vishnu, the Supreme Person, and execute it attentively without any delay. So what he says is actually, I know everything why you are here. So hear what I'm doing, what I'm saying, and act accordingly, attentively, and very without delay. Right. So it appears that the words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be heard in trance by the competent person. So that's why sometimes we see our Acharya writes so many things in the books, right? And so many different analogy, different pastimes are being spoken by them. How it's happening? Because they are competent. In one of the in the conversation of Prabhupada, one disciple asks Prabhupada, this Krishna book, it's only you written, right? Then what's the point of you reading it again? Prabhupada says, no, it's not written by me. Though it might be written by me, but it was all dictated by Krishna himself, right? So that's how we see the Krishna book is actually being dictated by Krishna himself, and then he used to read it again and again. I mean, I have not seen Prabhupada. This is what I have heard by the devotees. However, I did had experience when I was in Ahmedabad, and their temple president. I just went to meet for the first time to him, right? And there what I saw was amazing, and I can't forget actually. I mean, for the first time, it was like the same thing, because I was meeting for the very first time with a senior devotee. It was not like that, but when I went further years and years, then I could realize what I saw on that day. And no, Prabhu actually, he was reading uh, Krishna book at the time. He was in old age, and I can't believe that he had not read Krishna book earlier, right? It means what? He's repeatedly reading Krishna book himself, and Prabhupada used to do the same thing again and again, right? So we we release the same pastimes again and again, because Krishna is always fresh, always youth. So his pastimes, his leelas are always youth, right? So a competent person actually can communicate with Krishna. And the best way we have been provided to us by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how can we communicate with Krishna, is chanting the holy name of Lord Hari Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Prabhupada says here, modern science gives us telephones by which one can hear sound vibrations from distant place. Similarly, although other persons cannot hear the words of Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma is able to hear Lord's words within himself. And the very first verse of Bhagavatam says, Tena Brahma Hridaya Kavye Moyanti Sade Surya. So Krishna has imparted this knowledge in the heart of Lord Brahma. So what Lord Shodakasai Vishnu speaks to Lord Brahma. Let's see it here. Okay, he says, Pureva Pumsavartartho Dhara Joro Bhavadbhir Amshir Yadusu Pajanyantam Sayavad Uriya Bharam Ishwareshwaraha Swakala Shaktya Shapyam Charet Bhuvi. Lord Brahma informed the demigod what he heard. Before we submitted our petition to the Lord, he was already aware of the distress on earth. So, consequently, for as long as the Lord moves on earth to diminish its burden by his own potency in the form of time, all of you demigods should appear through plenary portions as sons and grandsons in the family of Yadus. So, he says clearly instructions that okay, you all appear there, all the devatas and their wives go and appear uh, in the Yadus. See, you know what? It's a very interesting point. I mean, it's a very deeper thing. I'm just going through those now. So the demigods is being described that the one who appear in these Brajavasis, Yadus, they are actually a kind of, what happens is, don't ask me question here. I'm just trying to learn this now. So in Vaikuntha, the associate of Krishna or Vishnu are they are actually an expansion of the associates in Golok Vrindavan. So from Golok Vrindavan they expand as expansion in the Vaikuntha, and these devatas, they are the shadow expansion of the expansion in the Vaikuntha. So from Vaikuntha they expands as a shadow. They are not actually amsa, like a shadow or a reflection in the heavenly kingdom, and those they have been asked to appear as expansion in Yadus, so that basically consequently they are actually somehow or other connected to Krishna himself. So Krishna plays with their associates only. No one else actually can be with them, right? So, and Prabhupada quotes again from Brahma Samhita, Ramadimurti's Kala Niyamena Tishtan verse. He says, I worship the Supreme Personality of God, Govinda, who is always situated in various incarnations such as Rama, Narsimha, and many sub-incarnations as well, but who is the original personality of Godhead known as Krishna, and who incarnates personally also. So that Krishna. So when he says, I'll appear in this form, in the form of Krishna, he completely appears. So he appears, he is most opulent, like good, better, best. So the complete Krishna has appeared in Vrindavan, and all others, like different incarnations, they have all the potency. Definitely there are no there is no comparison potency, but they I mean show the very little potency of that, not complete potencies, right? Okay. And again, Prabhupada mentions about that the chanting of holy name. He says there is no difference between the sound vibration and Krishna himself. The Nama Nami Abhinatvam. There is no difference between Nama and Nami. This verse is kasa. Abhinatvam Nama Nami no. So Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Suddho Nitya Mukto Abhinatvam Nama Nami no. So there is no difference between the Mahamantra and person Krishna. Okay, so it's 42 now. Let's take one more verse and then we'll try to read one of the chapter from Krishna Lila. So text 23, he says, Vasudeva grihe sakshat bhagavan purusa para janishyate tat priyartham sambhavvantu surastriya. So Bhagavan Purusha para, he is going to come where? Vasudeva grihe. Vasudeva grihe sakshat bhagavan purusham parha. So he's saying that the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who has full potency, will personally appear as the son of Vasudeva. Therefore, all the wives of the demigods should also appear in order to satisfy him. So Devatas, they appear, even their wives, they appears in the Yadu dynasty, so that they can help Krishna in playing in the pastimes. And Krishna is going to appear in his full potency, right? He says Vasudeva grihe sakshat bhagavan purusha para, right? Param purusha is going to, the original person, original Krishna is going to appear in the house of Vasudeva, right? In the purport Prabhupada says in Bhagavad Gita chapter 4.9, the Lord says, Tekta deham punar janma neti mameti sarjuna. We discussed yesterday as well this point. After giving up the material body, the devotee of the Lord returns home back to Godhead when they understand when they know that Krishna's appearance are transcendental and his activities are transcendental, right? Okay, we'll stop here for any quick comment, questions, and then we'll move on to actually one more thing I wanted to say. Just this last one actually here in this purport. He says, with the association of the Lord Krishna, either in Dwarkapuri or Mathurapuri or Vrindavan, they would certainly return home back to Godhead. Among the Surastri, the women of the heavenly planets, there are many devotees such as the mother of Upendra, incarnation of Krishna. It was such devoted women who were called for in this connection. So like as I was saying, the incarnation which is coming from in the Vaikuntha lokas, right? They were actually the expansion of Golok Vrindavan, right? And then their expansion, their said expansion comes in heavenly kingdom, right? So that's a bit, I'm just trying to go to those. Once I get completely clear on those, I'll just share to you all as well. So we'll continue from text 24 tomorrow. Okay, I'll just keep a note. Any quick questions, comments, or any suggestions, please feel free to share. Okay, if not, then we'll read one of the story from this book. Is the call as the Little Blue Book on Krishna. So shall I read the story which we did yesterday? I mean on that day, or a new one? Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji, you can share on your own words.
Okay. Okay, let's read this one then. This is chapter 9. Uh, Interestingly, this page number is 107, so that's good for a start. Yeah. It says, Rishabh, my adorable friend and Dr. Kanhaiya. So, we had the best doctor in Vrindavan. He was a, so I'll just read, say about this book. So what happens in these books is Prabhu when he writes, he takes one character and then he writes about him. Like in the very first chapter, he speaks about Nanda Maharaj. So in the very first paragraph is amazing actually. Yeah, so in the Nanda Maharaj, sorry, not one, Vasudeva, he says, he starts with saying that, interestingly, he says, the last 9 years of my life have been the hardest and yet unbelievably, unbelievably the most blessed ones. Of course, if anyone hears my story, so my stories means here it's the story being by Vasudev itself. He says, if anyone hears my story without seeing it from my perspective, they will surely feel those were the most cursed 9 year in human existence by any measure. So we know that how uh, Vasudeva he suffered for 9 years in the prison house, right? So that's how he started. So this story is Rishabh. So whenever he says I, me, it you can think as a Rishabh. We had the best doctor in Vrindavan. He was a doctor like no other. Everyone had complete faith in him, and he loved to treat everyone even if they didn't actually need treatment. In fact, his name itself was medicine. I heard from so many big beard sages who come to Vrindavan that this is what all scripture says. But for us, little boy, we didn't need any proof of scriptures. We believed in his healing touch. Kanaya was our little doctor. So the doctor is Kanaya. There was no one in Vrindavan who didn't want to be touched by this doctor or to be touched with him or be in touch with him. Everyone's happy experience was that Kanaya's touch took away all pain. If anyone in Vrindavan experienced any pain, they would want the magical touch of the little prince of Kanaya. Little prince of Vrindavan, that's Kanaya. They would go to him and say, "Oh Kanaya, there is pain in my head. Can you press it a little?" My friend Kanaya could never say no. In fact, he would be eager to relieve his kith and kin from any kind of pain. He would drop whatever he was doing, even if he was playing with his favorite game, and turn his attention to the person who sought his help. He would make them sit and then press their head with his tiny fingers. During this process, he was always very serious. His countenance showed he was in the middle of a very important job. He felt responsible for their healing. How could he heal if he was not serious about it? But since he was so small, how long could he press? No one wanted to trouble him or tire him. As soon as he started pressing their head, that peasant would hold his hand and say, "Enough, Kanaya. As soon as you touched my head, my pain has ran away." Right. So Kanaya was so small and innocent that he would look here and there and trying to see if he could see the pain running away. He thought pain was a bird or a cat that he would see. That innocent movement was a sight worth seeing. All my friends had made him their doctor. While playing and frolicking in the forest of Vrindavan, many of us would get hurt from the thorns and the rough bushes. Just today, my arm had a mild scratch. It was so mild that I didn't even notice it. But somehow, our doctor friend always noticed these scratches no matter how small. And anytime he saw even a minute scratch, he immediately got into medical action. He pulled my arm carefully to inspect the scratch. He began to ask me serious questions. "Rishabh, how did you get the ugly scratch? Tell me so that I can heal you quickly." The funny thing was that the scratch was so small that even I could not see it. I kept asking him where it was. I even told him it was nothing and tired pulling away so that I could go back to play. But Kanaya had already gotten into his doctor role by then. He was quite serious. No, Rishabh, don't touch it. If not treated immediately, these scratches become infected and get septic. It will become more painful if I don't heal it now itself. Kanai was very sensitive doctor. If anyone had the slightest wound, whether it was a friend or a cow or a bull or a deer or even a monkey, Kanaya would notice it. Even if an animal had a slight limp while walking, Kanaya would notice it. Kanaya did not miss seeing anything. He was also alert and caring. As soon as he saw it, he slipped into his healing mode at once. The best part was his treatment. His treatment was always unique. He would make a juice of whatever leaf, flower, or fruit that he found nearby. If he could not find those, he would go for any grass or any even mud. Basically, whatever he could lay his hands on was good enough for his healing purpose. This healer was not bothered about any specific spices of grass or flower or fruit or leaf. He could turn anything and everything into healing medicines. So today, while trying to treat my scratch, he plucked some leaves from a plant nearby and with great care he began to crush them into a stone, turning them into a pulp. He then held my arm with both his hands and bent down to blow carefully on the scratch. He blew air several times from his mouth and gently stroked his fingers over it several times. Then he said, "Now it's time to apply the medicine over your wound." With great care, he applied the pulp on my scratch. It seems as if he was curing some major incurable disease. I could not control my laughter because I was not feeling any pain at all, and the scratch hardly even existed. I could have easily gone to play and even take care of the cows, but I knew that if I laughed and ran away, Kanaya would feel hurt and even insulted and sulk. I never wanted to see tears in his big eyes, so I felt it was best to allow him to continue his treatment. Right. Once he applied his medicine, he asked, "Rishabh, is your pain any less now?" I could not stop my laughter anymore and said, "But I didn't have any pain." He ignored me and continued his enquiry. "Now, can you tell whether the scratch was?" Because there was no, because there was so much juice all over my hand, the scratch was not visible. Finally, Kanaya was satisfied that the scratch has gone. It has healed, he declared happily. It was touched by his concern. Was there any other doctor who attended to sick people with so much care? If a doctor attends to you with so much love, how can any scratch or any disease remain uncured? That's how Krishna is basically the doctor in Vrindavan. Right. So we'll go to the next one tomorrow. That's Parrots in Vrindavan. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Hare Krishna.